Okay, and we are back with more interrogation. We're gonna pick up right where we left off last time. We've got three people to interrogate. We've signed a document that says we can't use any information that's self-incriminating that they say. So our goal in this one is to turn them against each other. Let's hop right in. All right. Um, wasn't she from the last one, bro? Lee, Reed, and who it? James Bennett. This is a new person. All right, James Bennett does not register in almost any database. In any database we have access to. He doesn't have a driver's license, not registered as a property owner, no medical insurance. He's married and has two teenage boys. The only data we have on him is from his service in the army, but most of his files are confidential. We could only learn that he has enrolled in the infantry in his youth. We only know he quickly rose through the ranks before applying and being granted early retirement at the rank of colonel. After that, Bennett mostly drops off the radar. When we found him at the location indicated, he was living with his family on a large property in a secluded area in the mountains. Okay, that's why we're in the helicopter. Got you. His isolation and military training certainly qualifies him as a suspect for Liberation Front leadership, although his motives currently remain unknown. Whew, alright. Let's see what we can do. Ooh, it's not timed. Beautiful. All I need from you, Miss Lee, is that you confess to leading the Liberation Front. All I need from you, Miss Lee, is that you consult for me as a military expert today. All I need for you, Miss Lee, is that you consult for me as a forensics expert. I'll say all I need from you is that you consult for me as an ideology expert today. Very well, that I can do. Imagine for this consultation exercise that you are the commander of the front. Imagine let's say imagine that you're the ideological leader. All right, I can wrap my head around that as a mental exercise. Sure. And let's imagine that you lead a wing dedicated to absolute stateless private property self-ownership. No, she would lead a wing dedicated to dedicated to triggering the revolution that can bring us to total equity. Maybe this one. I don't think she would do one dedicated to protecting the environment, so let's not do that one. She wouldn't lead a wing dedicated to wrecking the world. No. Perpetuating fear on behalf of the government. She wouldn't do that one, or that one. So it's either, yeah, let's say she's the last one. Alright, I can picture it. What sort of person would lead this terrorist wing? How would you lead the wing? How would you work with the other two wings? Let's discuss the real Liberation Front for a minute. How would you work with the other wings? I would try to make sure the factionalism does not divide or distract us. How would you handle relationships with the other leaders? Besides the ideological debates that would certainly happen, building long-term trust would be essential. What would your view be on the autonomy of different wings? Autonomy is a dangerous thing. It fosters divergence, a dangerous thing, but often a necessary compromise. Let's talk about something else. What sort of person would lead this wing? They smile. Most likely someone that has witnessed firsthand the suffering caused by inequality, someone driven and empathetic. Okay. What sort of connections would they need? What would be the motive? Yeah, what would be the motivative drive behind their actions? The fight for social equity has been a great motivator throughout history. Revolutions and wars were fought over it. What sort of professional background would they need? I believe it could be anyone. Inequality affects 90% of people. No particular skills seem necessary. How about personality? Open and empathetic, with a tough and resilient backbone. Someone with those qualities would make for an inspirational leader. Wouldn't they then be too weak to take the tough decisions to kill? Absolutely. People need someone they can believe in. So, the leader would use his charisma to manipulate impressionable folk. So, the leader would use his charisma to motivate and inflame folk. The leader would use his charisma to convince members to act violently. Let's say motivate and inflame. Yes, many have been pushed into apathy and would need to be stirred to raise their heads once again. Let's change the exercise. They look into your eyes, perhaps a bit worried. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's assume your wing is focused on achieving absolute freedom. Let's go with this one. The two do not seem entirely connected to me, but very well, this is your exercise. Okay. Let's change the exercise. Yeah. Let's talk about something else. Let's discuss. Very well, but remember the deal we signed. Okay. How would you describe its ideology? I think we both know its ideology is not unitary. Multifaceted opposition in its main appeal, which means there has to be a great deal of internal tension, which means there has to be clear balance of powers within, which means there has to be a great deal of confusion within. I would say internal tension. On the contrary, exactly this umbrella approach would provide cohesion. But that balance would be disrupted if anything were to happen to a leader. With all political movements, leaders greatly influence the interpretation of ideology by members if one falls. You are correct, of course. We need only to think of the communist revolutions across Europe. Before I ask about our connections. All I need from you, Mr. Reed, is that you consult me as a business expert today. Now we're talking. I usually charge for this, but you get a session for your charge. He's going to be... Should I call him the operations manager or the president? Imagine for this consultation exercise that you're the president. Oh, okay. Screwed. I wish I could go back. And let's imagine that you lead a wing dedicated to absolute stateless private property and self-ownership. And let's imagine that you lead a wing dedicated to actually perpetuating fear on behalf of the government. Apocalypse. Let's give him this one. I guess, okay. I'll play. How would you work with the other two wings? We would have to be flexible, making sure we don't miss any opportunities. How would you handle relationships with the others? I would have to personally trust their competence and dedication. How would your view be on the autonomy of different wings? We would have to decide commonly on strategies. There's no question about that. How would you coordinate your actions with those of other wings? I would specialize the different wings, each playing to its best competence, and delegate tasks accordingly. Let's change the exercise. About time we switch things up. Let's assume your wing is focused on spreading fear so that the government can use it as an excuse for authoritarianism. Nah, I'm gonna go with this one. That's an idea I can get behind, although you make it sound so dramatic. What sort of person would lead this wing? Ha, a smart one, that's for sure. What sort of professional background would they need? Top-notch managerial abilities, that's for sure. I should have said manager. How about personality? Energetic, hardworking. I think. I'm just speculating here. He said he was at least hardworking last time. How about connections? Networking is key in all business. Cop. That still applies if you're in the business of terror. What would be the motivating drive? They lean forward. I mean, they're probably fed up with the state leeching off us. Politicians lining their pockets for free while we toil away. It's true that statistically a large majority distrusts the government and holds their employer in higher regard. Yet, that is contradicted by the growing popular support for strong state protection, such as minimum wage. Let's go with this one. Of course, because your employer has a vested interest in your well-being, the government doesn't. Okay. Let's change the exercise. Okay, let's talk about the real Liberation Front. Listen, I don't know what you're trying to squeeze out of me, but it won't work, so ask away, waste your time. How do they operate their recruitment process? Haven't you heard? They post online about stuff. How about its ideology? Honestly, I think they're trying to embody freedom in all its forms. Their acts of violence are the catalyst for their own downfall. Their acts of violence are self-defense. Their acts of violence are immoral regardless of their purpose. I guess time will tell, won't it? It's crazy. You know about James Bennett? I don't know them personally, cop. I only know he's some old guard military guy. We had an intimate relationship. Some crazy times. Ooh, okay. What you know about Damascus? Well, Reed and I have some common social circles. I assume he comes to my conferences just to argue with me. That's it? He claims you had some... Whoa! Why that? That was supposed to be private. Okay. I think you know more than enough, officer. Okay. What you know about James Bennett? The colonel has participated in some military actions in a number of the Asian countries. I have held lectures. I assume so. It's a very nice place. Yeah, you said you like coffee. She said she liked coffee. Oh man, she seemed also very upset. Oh damn, that might have been a misstep, huh? Let's talk to James. All I need from you, Colonel, is that consult for me as a military expert today. Agreed. Oh, he's sick. He coughing? Imagine for this consultation. What? Imagine for this consultation, you're the commander of the front. Mentor, leader, president, you're the commander. Sir, yes, sir. Okay. Let's imagine you lead a wing dedicated to absolute stateless private property. No. Maybe fear? Yeah. Never. Dang, I thought that was the one. What sort of person would lead this? I cannot imagine. What sort of personality would they have to have? Sheep is unstable. Let's talk about something else. Let's change the exercise. I don't think equity would matter to him. I really don't think private property would either. Not the climate crisis. So let's say... I don't think he's gonna like burning down the world either. The more important question is what grows in the ashes. Got him. Okay, what sort of person would lead this? A determined person? What sort of personality would they have? Diligent, hardworking, an iron will. What sort of connection would they need to have? Reliable, dependable men, all that is needed. What would the motive be? Various. Okay, let's talk about something else. How would you work with the other wings? Circumstances would dictate our relationship. What would your view be on the autonomy of different wings? Unless tactically determined, detrimental, I would enforce a strong hierarchy. Okay, so hierarchy, the lady said, wasn't she against hierarchy or something? And then the guy in the middle said that they'd have to work together. Okay. How would you handle relationships with the other leaders? We are on a mission. Personal relationships are unnecessary. How would you coordinate your actions with those? Target identification, supply acquisition, and sharing. All of these need to be centrally coordinated. Okay, let's go back and let's ask about how would you work with the other two? Oh, how would you work with I doubt I would care much about them as long as they don't interfere with my plans. How about autonomy? Well, we need to keep an agile operation environment, don't we? Ha! Who says terrorist cells can't implement the latest management doctrines? How would you coordinate actions? Oh, regular sync-ups would certainly be necessary. We need to keep our eyes on the prize, don't we? How would you handle relationships with others? I would touch base regularly. He said no. He said no. Okay. Back to Damascus then. What's your connection to James Bennett? They shake their head. I don't know them personally, cop. I only know. I already asked him that. He said probably not. How would you work with the others? We would have to be flexible, making sure you're, how about this? We would have to decide commonly. There's no question. Change the exercise. Okay, let's assume your wing is focused on saving us from the impending climate crisis. I doubt that is a priority for the Liberation Front, but I'll explore this with you. Let's change the exercise. Let's say... Yep, let's go with this one. That is a disturbing thought. What sort of person would lead this? It must be someone with nothing to lose or who has already lost everything. How about background? Expert in destruction. A soldier, a mercenary, someone ruthless. Personality? Paranoid conspiracist. Exuberant, restless, energetic, yet entirely misguided. Connections. He would attract those who resonate with his inner turmoil, the zealous cultists. The preppers, the doomsayers, those are the fringes of society. What would be the motivating drive? His inability to adapt to society. How would you lead this wing? How would I run a death cult? That goes against everything I believe in, but I would do my best. How about recruitment? I would approach those who already preparing for the end of the world. Most of them have perfectly functional bunkers too. Leadership? Top-down leadership, maintaining a strong grip on those cannons in my cell. Your goals and objectives. To end it, the end of it all, right? A sort of mass suicide. How would you handle the day-to-day? I would delegate to key people, establishing a functional hierarchy. How would you handle recruitment? I would approach those who are already preparing for the end. Most of them. Alright, let's go to him. No, let's go to him. Freedom? Freedom is nothing. Okay, what sort of person leads this wing? I can't imagine. How about personality? Sheepish, unstable. What are sort of connections? None? What would be the motivation? Lies. Are you really so arrogant as to believe that only you hold the truth? Do you really have so little faith in others to distinguish between truth and manipulation? Yes. Personal bias does not automatically discredit one's opinion, Bennett. Only a fanatic believes himself the holder of absolute truth. Yeah, people are quick to accept comfortable factoids. Yes, you included. God damn. This man rough. Let's assume your wing is focused on burning down the world, a total cleansing. You've got some crazy ideas festering in there, cop. Don't project on me. What sort of poor person? I think it must be someone unstable, you know? Someone with a lot of anger in their system. I think they would be the shouting type, with a hand raised if you catch my drift. How about connections? He would have to keep his people close, keep them angry, keep them scared. That sort of group would be very unpredictable. That sort of group would be very violent. That sort of group would be easily turned against you. I think that's the point, cop. I think I'd be blowing those, bruh. What would be the motivator? How would you lead the wing? This again? What more do you want me to say? It goes against everything I believe in. I'd foster communities where the sort of people can feel safe to share their fringe views, normalizing them. How would you handle the day-to-day? I guess I'd have to be very hands-on, micromanaging stuff, or else nothing else would get done. What were your goals and objectives? They squint, lips tightening. The modern man relies heavily on things whose function he doesn't understand. See how angry they get when the water supply stops working for a week. And when the people get angry, then what? Then they riot uncontrollably. They strike against anything that might be the cause of their misfortunes. I'm sure you see why something like this must be avoided. And usually, the first to be put to the torch are the rich. Which, in this case, would be the government. Yep, that's the usual answer. Wouldn't give a crap about them. How about relationships? I have to make it so that no other leader would have second thoughts about our commitment to blowing up, I guess. What would your view be on the autonomy of different wings? It's not like we would have a plan, so everyone can go do whatever the hell they want. But the lack of coordination will mean that different wings might impede each other's efforts. But the lack of coordination will just mean that nothing gets done. Hey, you make the exercise, cop, but you're right. How would you... We'd have to allocate people and establish a network of resource sharing, but that's about it. Wait. Master liar is trained to deceive, a speaker, not a doer. No backbone, unable to commit, unable to act. Infiltrated agent spreading propaganda. Hate. Like Stalin and Lenin did by lying to the hopeful masses. Delegating responsibility, talking too much, giving speeches. Yeah, I get it. You're very tough. To me, that doesn't sound like an efficient way to run things. Agreed. Bountiful harvest, endless prosperity, etc. I will present ideas, let others do the dirty work. Okay. It would depend on our goal alignment. Make everyone feel like we are contributing. What would your view be on the autonomy of different wings? There can be no autonomy. It might disturb our plans for utopia. Okay. How would you coordinate your actions with those? Coordinating targets, propose targets, let others bother with the execution. Huh. They nod slightly, pointing a finger at you. Agreed, briefly. Finally, bruh. That whole time I was just trying to break this man. Mrs. Lee wants to have ideological debates at length. Nonsense, waste of time, words that strangle action. What's your connection to Lee? Vietnam, she was a teacher there. Damascus? My phone was made by a company he owns. You think these two privileged kids in the other rooms have the iron will needed to see this through? No, probably not. How do you describe its ideology? Useless. Really? I thought ideology was the main drive behind many of... It does serve as a distraction. It's a useful cover, isn't it? Yes, but the front did not get here by basing itself on ideology alone. But the front spends a lot of resources spreading its ideology-charged messages. Ideological charged messages. You're wrong. I've spoken to many of its members, and all of them justified their actions through their ideology. A mistake. She was a teacher there, where she was spreading the exact ideology you claim is polluting the front today. The answer after a short pause, yes. Someone like her would certainly harm the front with her proselytizing? Someone like her would certainly try to direct the front's actions so as to support her ideology. Yes, you are right, but it might be manageable. Okay, let's go talk to her about it. You know, Bennett has not the slightest trust that you're loyal to anything other than your ideology. That's not so surprising. Okay. They narrow their eyes at you. Why would I give anything to someone that has never sacrificed anything for real glory? I've sacrificed everything to end up here to help purge the front of its wings. And see? I'm ready to sacrifice you or myself the instant that's needed. Power. Good. Okay. Click her square. Damascus square. James square. Alright. Okay. What would your leadership style be regarding this swing? They answer thoughtfully. Learning from the mistakes of the past, I will focus on maintaining our ideological integrity above all. Oh? What are you thinking about when you say ideological integrity? Non-discrimination, redistribution of wealth, a culture of acceptance that spans all genders and identities. What would your leadership style be regarding this swing? Would you handle recruitment? I make sure our message reaches those who most need to hear it, the disenfranchised. You're an ominous specter like Lady Luck. She's a good example, I assume. How would you handle the day-to-day? I would carefully plan all actions, ensuring we never make a move that can be misinterpreted. What would be your goals and objectives? More than a material object, I would strive towards social awakening as our main goal. It is true, many are too ignorant to understand the situation they are in. It is true, many live contently unaware of the situation they are in. That is the insidious nature of capitalism. It puts us to sleep with overpriced goods. Reed has already shown you that he can't keep a secret. Give him up. They lean in and speak quickly, handshaking. Listen to me, officer. You're wrong about the Liberation Front. We can bring equality and happiness. You know how broken the capitalist system is. Help us end it. Even if I agree with you, I still need to put Reed behind bars for that to happen. They slump in their chair, tears forming in their eyes. Very, very well. I will sign your confession incriminating him. Sign here. Let history be the judge of him. They sign the confession with a shaking hand. It will be the judge of us all. Lee has already confessed that you lead one of the wings of the Liberation Front. Ha! Cheap tricks, cop. I'm not falling for that. Well, I'm dead serious, bro. Their eyes narrow as they speak. Real skills, hands-on experience, well-trained, a thing most lacking in today's youth. You blame children for the fault of the world? I agree. Modern society has made us all weak. Yes, my boy spent weeks in the forest alone to become hard and strong-willed. That's a crime, sir. What would be the motivating drive behind their actions? They answer in a calm voice. Hope. What do you mean by hope? I'm getting really tired of it. What do you mean by hope? They answer after a brief pause. That this rotten world can be made into something better. That not all is lost. By hurting innocents in the process, that's monstrous. By stripping us all of comforts that make us weak. Yes. Time is the apex predator mankind faces against that everything needs to be measured. What? Time is the apex predator mankind faces. Against that, everything needs to be measured. Come on, bro. It's like they give me little teeny bits of stuff, and then it's nothing and nothing and nothing. What is your connection to James Bennett? They shake their head. I don't know them personally, cop. I only know he's some old guard military guy. Did you know he treats his young boys like soldiers? Weeks alone in the woods, that sort of thing. What? That sounds cruel. That sort of person leads the front, Bennett. Just think about that. Now imagine that if he does that to his kids, what he would do to other innocents. You see now why this kind of... Given the opportunity, well, there are many of people out there. He's just another one on the list. Bennett is a monster, you know it. He will destroy everything you've built. They lean forward, speaking fast, eyes bulged wide. Okay, cop, okay. The dream of a truly free society cannot happen if people like Bennett are in the position to threaten all we've built. But the front will and must achieve freedom. They wipe their forehead. You've convinced me, cop. I'll sign. But the front is not your enemy here. Remember that. Sign here, Reed. Yes. Okay, cop. You know, I'm really impressed with you. If you ever need a job, look for me. Alright. She signed. He signed. I need you to sign. What would be your goals and objectives? Bountiful harvest, endless prosperity, etc. Another tells me that, for her, equity implies a culture of total acceptance and tolerance. Wow, of course that Jezebel would say that. Weak. That is what a world like that would make us. Not Jezebel, bro. Come on. Agreed. The front will be stronger without her. You understand strength. You've shown it today and in the past. Join me. Give me the paper. Do not forget what I told you. Rebirth is our only option for a sustainable future. When I tell you, as you could probably tell from the cuts, that took me a solid 2 hours. That was the worst one yet, but I guess if it's closer than it should have been. Let's report these findings, bruh. You got him. Wait. I get to pick. Oh, I get to pick. I can book them. Time for the trial of the decade. And decades in jail? Or I can release Reed. Reed's wing can help make a better world. Release him and detain Lee and Bennett? Release Bennett. The Colonel's wing can help make a better world. Release him and detain Lee and Reed. The Colonel is tripping. Definitely not doing that. Y'all bugging. I'm booking everybody. He happy. Look at him. Looking like Caillou. Win the game for the first time. The news is spreading throughout the ranks of the Liberation Front. They were everywhere. What's going on? Trial of the decade. What? Am I supposed to click through this? What? Oh, it's just in there. I'm so confused. I'm like, what? Jennifer Reyes. Jennifer Reyes quit the force a few years after the completion Citing burnout and a lack of alignment with the police department values, she retired and maintains a practice as a therapist. Mordecai Fisher was her husband's best man at the wedding. Tab Thomas followed a strong focused career as an officer and analyst in their later years. They led the newly organized algorithmic crime prevention pilot. They continued to keep in touch with those willing to subscribe to their weekly email update stream. Mordecai Fisher never moved up from his position on the force nor pursued such ambitions. As a father, he focused on his emerging golf hobby and gained significant weight. He remembers the lead detective fondly and often quotes their words of wisdom to his kids. Joseph Ward published a moderately successful semi-biographical trilogy of novels about fighting the forces of terrorism. The character corresponding to your generation is depicted as well-meaning but over-reliant on procedure. Chief Anderson was hailed as a hero and went on to run the state-level Department of Public Safety a few years later. He recommended the lead detective as his successor to lead the STPD. Oh, okay. Okay, cool, I guess. Tristan Miller. Don't nobody care about Tristan. He became mayor himself 16 years later. I bet he did. Eddie Walker, later in life, left the journalism career to become Tristan Miller's campaign manager. Wow, okay. Bruh, I want to know about the internal affairs guy. Whatever. That's it for interrogation. If you made it to the end of this video and the end of this gameplay, I thank you for watching. If you liked it, like, comment, give suggestions for other games like this one, and hopefully we'll see you in the next gameplay.